First of all, thank you all for coming. This is my first ever presentation in English, my public talk in English. I hope that you will find this talk useful. Before we start, there are two disclaimers I have to give. Disclaimer number one is that everything that I'm going to talk about today is based on my personal experience as a lead game designer, as a project manager, and as a producer. So there is not so much scientific part involved, like scientific studies and everything. This all is based on my personal blood and sweat. So there is the thing number one. And the second thing is that in my talk, I'm going to talk about principles which mostly are focused around people. The reason for that is not because I think that processes are not important and team structure and everything is not important. They are important, but from my experience, people are more important. So if you have a great team, but some messy processes, you will be able to deliver a great game. But if you have a great process established and the wrong people on the team, you will fail. I saw it many times, and this is something I believe very much. So that's why I'm going to talk about people mostly. Okay, so a few words about me, about my background. I'm doing games for 14 years. For the last 8 years, I've been with Playcode and took part in creation of some of the most successful games of our company. Here are some numbers and games I helped to create over the years. These games are all social for Facebook. And they were successful when Facebook was huge, and Super City is still one of the most successful projects of Playcode. But today I'm going to talk mostly about things principles that I used to build my latest game, which is called Age of Magic. By the way, how many of you did play Age of Magic? Okay, not so much. So my advice is please download the game and take a look, because what if the game is crappy, right? And here I am talking about the epic team principles. So please take a look at the game and see if it's worthy of your attention. Some numbers again. We have more than 7 million installs. We've reached top 50 in China, so we are extremely successful in China. And we've made some money in the US as well. And we're still growing and building the game. Okay, so here is some things about the game. It's a mobile RPG, actually an RPG of epic scale for mobile. So here you can take a look at amount of content that we have in the game, the number of heroes, the number of game modes, and things like this. So what I'm trying to say that this is a pretty big project. Okay, so and some more numbers, which are also important. So these are the key milestones that we had before the release of the game in May last year. And you can see that the team that built the game was pretty small. Like when we started, there were only 3 of us. Then as we moved on, the team slowly grew. And we launched the game when the team was 30 people on the team. 30 people is actually a big team, right? But if you take a look at similar games to Age of Magic, like Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, or Marvel Strike Force, or Summoners Wars, those games are built by teams which number hundreds of people, okay? So this is just so that you have an idea of why the principles I'm going to talk about might be interesting to you as well. Okay, so before I continue, how many actually leads are in the audience? Team leads, producers, project managers. Okay, so some target audience in the audience is present. That's great. So the reason why I decided to give this talk is actually that I believe that there are 2 core things which are absolutely universal for gaming industry. So for each gaming team out there, 2 things are the same. And I'm talking about take teams at Blizzard and take guys who are building their first ever indie game. 2 things will be common. So the deadlines are painfully tight, right? And we all have a lack of people. So if you go and talk to guys at Blizzard and ask them if they have enough people, they will most probably tell you that they would like to have more. And if you ask them about the deadlines, and even if they have a great process established, they will most likely will tell you that some overtime will be involved, closer to the deadline. So these two things are universal, okay? And the principles I'm going to talk about are actually the ones that I use to overcome these two things that are always present. Of course, you can leverage those, right, to some extent, but you will not get rid of those. And the sooner you understand this, the better you will be as a manager. Okay, so this is the starting thing, right? Now I'm going to talk about my principles, and the principles that I'm going to talk about are actually like a pyramid. So each principle is like a brick that the next level will be built upon. The foundation of everything is an attitude to your project. So over the years, I worked on different projects. I built very casual game, like extremely casual games. I built extremely hardcore games. What I found out that the time and energy that I invest in each project are approximately the same. So it doesn't really matter if I work on hardcore squad-based tactics or a game for small girls based on a franchise from Disney. The amount of energy and time that I put in the game is comparable. Okay, so when I understood that, and I understood that I really love what I do, I understood that the foundation for everything is an attitude to your project. It doesn't really matter what game you are working on, if you love this game. So we don't have much time, so I decided I'll give you one quote. It's very important for me personally, and I think this is the best definition of what I'm trying to talk about, okay? Everybody reads with a different speed, so I'll just read it through to make sure that everybody on the same page. To be sure, an ordinary passerby would think that my rose looked just like you, the rose that belongs to me. But in herself alone, she is more important than all the hundreds of your other roses, because it is she that I have watered, because it is she that I have put under the glass globe, because it is she that I have sheltered behind the screen, because it is for her that I have killed the caterpillars, except the 2 or 3 that we saved to become butterflies, because it is she that I have listened to when she grumbled, or boasted, or even sometimes when she said nothing, because she is my rose. This is a quote by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. This is a great French writer, and this is a quote from his book called Little Prince. If you didn't read this, I encourage you to read, because it's a great thing. So the foundation of the pyramid of principles I'm going to talk about is love. Okay, you need to be loving what you're doing. So the next principle, the next thing which is important for Epic team are actually people. So you need to be bringing the right people on board, taking the right people into your team. And how do you define those? So personally, I do this through interview, and I just talk to a person, I listen to what she says, and try to imagine her on my team, and see if she will make my team better, stronger, if she has great hard skills, if she has great soft skills, and I will tell her about my attitude to the project, okay? What I'm trying to avoid is grizzled professionals, right? The guys who come to you and tell, okay, so we're going to make some money, we're making a shitty game, I understand that, but we're going to make some money. No. So I'm looking for people who can share my attitude to my project, okay? Because this is the basic principle of everything. And of course, I'm brutally honest about the deadlines and about the lack of people, and I'm telling the conditions we are going to work under, and I see how the person reacts. And but to summarize it all, what I'm doing is I'm looking for a spark. What do I mean by that? So now it's a little bit about personal beliefs. I believe that every single person in the world is born for greatness, okay? So every single one of us is born to be great. And some of us are born to be great bakers, some of us are born to be great builders, and some few of us are born to make great games or to make great user acquisition, okay? So these are the people that I'm looking for. And this is what I'm trying to understand. If the person I'm talking to is really, in line with her spark. And so the second principle is to be looking for a spark. Be looking for people who are passionate about their job, who have the right hard skills, who have the right soft skills, and who have the passion, who still have that passion. And if you have a great guy who's, for example, who has a great hard skills, but while you talk, you know that you understand that this guy dreams about baking bread, so maybe you should encourage this guy to go and be a baker. So the first foundation is love. The second foundation is looking for a spark. Now, the third foundation, the third principle, is the core team. So what's a core team? This is basically the strongest person on your team in any given field. The strongest game designer, the strongest programmer, and the strongest quality assurance guy. So they have the strongest professional skills, okay? So, and they are not necessarily team leads on your team. For example, a programmer who is extremely silent and shy but builds great code and is the strongest one on your team will be the one who will attract other great programmers to your team because he's doing great stuff and everybody else will try to learn from him and to go to the standard of quality set by this person. Okay, so he, by his or her skill, she creates a fire from the spark. And the last point, there is no better way to put it. So this person should not be an ass. Okay. So we all know this extremely great guys, extremely professional, very good hard skills, very arrogant. Okay. Terrible to work with. So these guys are toxic and they will destroy the team. And it doesn't really matter if they have great personal performance. If they destroy your team, get rid of them. Okay, so love, spark, core team, and now I'm going to talk a little bit about the rules of hiring. So I told that I'm not going to talk about the processes, but this is like one very important exception to this. The rules of hiring are extremely simple, but over the years there's so huge amount of companies, big ones, that violate these principles. So the thing is, you have a test for a candidate, the candidate has an interview with guys from core team, and then the final interview with the producer. Why is that? So first of all, the professional skills should be evaluated by a professional. I'm a producer, I have a game design background, okay? So I can evaluate maybe game designers, but I'm not so good at evaluating, for example, programmers, okay? So programmers should be evaluated by programmers. The candidate and team members meet each other and they have opportunity to see if they can work with each other, if they are comfortable, if they will, if they see an opportunity to form a great team, and this is extremely important. So when the guy from a core team interviews the newcomer, this creates a responsibility. So I want my core team guys to be mentors for newcomers, okay? So if my core guy is a part of interview and kind of responsible for bringing somebody into the team, they are responsible for that person. And it's much easier to ask them to be mentors for these guys. Also in our industry, especially in some fields, there are a lot of people who know how to sell themselves, okay? How to present, how to smile, how to be, nice and everything, but they have terrible hard skills. So there are people, and a huge amount of people like that, who know how to talk, but they don't know how to work. So the test or portfolio or whatever is necessary to test the fakes, for the fakes, okay? And one last thing, which is very important for me personally in hiring process, if the guy from my core team who was a part of interview says no, I'm not going to hire a person. Okay, even if I think that this is a great specialist, but the guy on my core team says no, I will not hire that person. Okay, so a quick note on personal. And this is I added this in the last moment. So currently there is a note that you should only evaluate the professional skills and leave the personal aside. And that's true, but I found out that sometimes this is misunderstood. So your job as a producer is to evaluate not only the hard skills of a person, but the soft skills as well. So if you want to hire a great professional who's toxic, that will create a huge problem for your team in the future. nature. So it's a part of your job to take things personal, so to say. Okay. So the important stuff that I want to tell you about is the way that the first task is given on my team. So usually when somebody comes to a new job, they get a very simple task, very simple stuff to do, just to be comfortable, to get involved with the project. On my project, on my game, the first task the guy or the girl get when they get on the team is extremely important. And I always try to do so that the first task will be the one that will go into the nearest release. And the reason why I do this is pretty simple. So every single one of you, okay, is a hero of his or her own story. So you all, myself included, we all want to be heroes, okay? So when we choose a path in life to be game designer or an artist or programmer, this is something that we believe that is the most important thing in game development. So when you come to a new team, you are full of energy. You want to prove yourself. You want to show how great you are. And on my team, you will have that opportunity. The very first task you will be given, you will not be given a task to read the documentation. You will not be given the task to download the latest build, because these are not tasks, okay? This is just instruments. But the first task will be epic. And currently on my team, I have 57 people, and every single one of those went through this process. Not a single one failed. Why is that? So first of all, we observe the rules of hiring, so we know that the person is capable of performing the work we hired them to do. Second, everybody on my team knows about this rule, so they know that the task the guy is going to work on will be in the next release, so they are very motivated to monitor the process, to help the new person, and to make sure that everything goes smoothly. Okay? And it works magic. Like, you came to a new team, you get a first epic task, and you succeed. So after that, there is the first 3 months. Some just notes on successful integration for a person during the trial period. On my team, we have this 3 months trial period for every newcomer. So we clearly understand who we need and why. We have a backlog of tasks for that person for 3 months. And the thing is that actually the backlog is 5 months long. And the second thing is that usually by the end of the 3 months trial period, the backlog is empty, because the person just manages to complete all those tasks for 5 months in the 3 months period. Guys from core team provide mentorship. They are always near. They are interested and involved in the process of integrating the newcomer. The team lead is required to give, especially during the first 3 months period, is required to give a consistent and regular feedback for the person. It's extremely important during that period to point out on the things that the person is doing right and on the things that the person is doing wrong, and to help them to move. And the final decision is always left for the end of this 3 months trial period. So because a candidate can do a great job during the first 2 weeks, then do a terrible job during the next 2 weeks, and vice versa, okay? So it's important to see the whole picture and evaluate the newcomer based on the work performed during those 3 months. Okay, so as I said, this presentation is going to be focused on people, and I don't have the time to talk in length about the processes. This is probably something for another talk, but I want to touch on that a little bit. So at Playcode, the working processes are a bit different from other companies. The thing is that though I am a producer, I very seldom set the deadlines. I sit down with my team leads who are working on a specific feature, and my job is to give them context. I give them the goals that we have for the project for upcoming months. I give them the current position of the project in our roadmap, and we discuss what we need to deliver in the next update. And then my guys tell me the deadline, okay? So, and usually, the funny thing is that usually I have to ask them to remove some of the stuff they want to commit to, because usually they take too much tasks to do. So this is like the trust that I put on my team, into my team. I trust them to evaluate tasks and give me the deadline. And then it's after they commit, it's their responsibility to deliver. Okay, that's their responsibility, and they are completely free after the commitment. After we discussed everything, they are completely free to move as they see fit. Because it's their job, it's their decisions, it's their responsibility. So that's how things work at PlayCode. Okay. Another principle, as I said, being a producer is the most important part. Is the most important thing in the world, right? And a lot of producers, especially junior ones, they fall into hubris. Okay. They believe that since they are leading the team, they should know better than anybody else and be the better specialist in any given field. So they sometimes give advice on how to write code. They give advice to artists. They tell designers how to design game, and this is terribly wrong. In my opinion, in my experience, the mission of a producer to create the team and environment that will create a great game. Okay, so basically, what producer needs to be doing is observing the principles that I've talked about. Okay, the commandments, so to say, the commandments of an epic team. So to summarize everything up, so. Be loving your game, be looking for a spark. Remember that your core team is a foundation for the rest of the team. Hire the right guys onto the core team, or if you already have a successful project, identify the guys on your core team. The first task of a newcomer should be worthy of a hero. The first 3 months are crucial because they create the dynamics for the next years. The person will be working on, and the trust, responsibility, and freedom will carry you through. And last but not the least, keep calm and empower your team. Okay, and we have a couple of minutes for questions, it seems.
Yeah, I have a question, if I might.
Please.
I disagree with some of the things you said. For example, you said that the person you hire needs to have great hard skills and also the soft skills. But isn't it like you rather hire a great specialist that is really motivated, but he sucks at, for example, communication? Mm-hmm. Isn't it your job, producer job, to help this person to grow, and to keep this person because he might be really good in your team and he can help your game to grow? Mm-hmm. And I also just checked your page, PlayCode, and I saw that only you have to speak Russian to, become a part, or because there was the job position, everything was Russians only. So I was like,
okay. So thank you for the questions. A great question about soft skills. So what I meant is not actually the thing that I will avoid introverts or people who do not know how to express their opinion, but I was talking more about toxic people, the people who believe that they are so great that everybody else is below them, okay? And they actively translate it into the team. I'm such a great programmer, so if you don't know how to code, you are nobody, okay? So these are the kind of people that I'm talking about. When I talk about soft skills, I don't mean that person should be able to be a very good presenter or to be a very extrovert person or something like that. No, in fact, most of my team are extremely introvert people who love what they do. Okay, so I was talking about avoiding the toxic people. And second, originally the company came from St. Petersburg, but now we have the headquarters in Cyprus, and we have several people from other countries who do not speak Russian. For example, recently we hired Daniel McLaren. He was the lead game designer at Star Wars. He's based at Seattle, and he's involved deeply with working on the game, so no, Russian is not required.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
So when you were talking about that spark, made me think about personal connection as humans, right? So what I felt several times in interviews, either when I gave interviews or somebody, giving interviews to me or something like that, that personal connection you have sometimes with some people, and it makes me wonder whether when you create an organization over time, because, well, I mean, because of the way you hire, whether you create an organization of people that you have a personal connection with, right? Of course, when you have your team deciding, which we do something similar, and then you have like different people, I guess you don't become so monochromatic in your company, right? But it's just interesting because you talked about spark, and it made me think of personal connection.
It's you know, I understand what you're talking about, and it's the spark is more about connecting to your craft, right? So as I said, if you're a very shy person, you're not very comfortable with talking with guys, but you're a great artist, or you're a great coder, or you're a great quality assurance guy. So you will find a place at Playcode. The connection between people exists, but it is formed on the basis that everybody understands that you are not the only hero in the room, right? So these guys around you are all heroes in their field, and they love their craft just the same way that you love yours. So this is the basis of the foundation for the connection that we have on the team. Okay?
So you talked about believing like the game is your masterpiece. When you're working with like different designers and anyone of any discipline, how do you manage people potentially having different ideas of what that masterpiece should look like and the direction to take it? And how do you continue to make people feel like they are owners of their work when they might disagree with the ultimate direction that the project should go?
Okay, so the way we manage this at Playcode is this. When the game is launched, there is usually one person who's responsible for the vision of the game, because there is nothing, it doesn't exist. And one person should be responsible for the initial vision of the game. But as the game grows, one person cannot control the whole product, I start to give game designers become product owners of their own features, right? And when we talk, I am no longer the owner of the feature, because the guy who's the feature owner has more authority over it. And I can advise, we can talk, but the final decision is with the person who's responsible for the feature. And sometimes it goes, contradictory to my vision, but that's fine, because otherwise this would be a dictatorship. And the problem with this is that I always see that in the end, the dictatorship leads to a worse game, right? So yeah, it depends. I'd say this depends on the maturity of a person in charge. Okay, so if I'm mature enough, I will give this responsibility and all the tools to the person who's really doing the job. Okay.
Great, thanks so much.
Okay.
You said that when you're hiring a person, you will ask your team and each member of the team, do they like this person or not? And if somebody will say that it's no, you will not hire this person. How do you discover the reason of this no? Because it probably may be a personal opinion or some professional background. How do you discover this?
Okay, so I had to skip some points because of the time limit. So the answer is this. First of all, the person is evaluated by a core person from my team, so not the whole team takes part in evaluating. Like, I don't gather all my 57 guys and we discuss the newcomer, but I talk to a core person from that field and we talk. And if the person is against hiring, of course I will ask why, and we can discuss this. What I'm talking about is that, for example, we discuss the situation, and I think that the reasons are not valid enough to not hire the person. But the core team member says, no, I still don't feel that we should be hiring this person. I will not do this. Okay, so this is not automatic. But what I'm trying to tell is that the final decision is like the power to not hire somebody is with the core team guys. Okay. Okay.
All right, guys. I think that's all the time we got. So, are you going to stick around in the hallway and
Yeah, just
answer more questions?
Just a final comment. So I'm pretty comfortable with talking to shy guys. So if you have questions and comments and don't want to approach me personally, please send me an email or find me on Facebook. I'll be happy to discuss with you there. And also, I'll stick around. And if you have any questions, please come talk to me. I will not bite.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.